Have you ever been told your writing needs to be more concise? Yeah, me too. Here's what I discovered. Less is more. Shorter is better. Why? Fewer words mean a clearer and more direct message, which is your main goal as a writer, right? Well, here are 5 ways to help you achieve that goal. Tip number 1, avoid nouning. Okay, what is nouning? It's when a noun hides a verb. Here's some common examples. The driver gave assistance to the injured pedestrian. Note the verb that is buried in the noun assistance. Pull it out, and the sentence becomes, the driver assisted the injured pedestrian. Here's another example. The scholar conducted an investigation into the causes of genocide. Aren't all investigations perforce conducted? You see, the sentence is academic puffery, for the scholar investigated the causes of genocide. These nouns ending in shun, whether it's tion or sion, often hide verbs. Here's another example. Memorial Hospital made a decision to close its trauma center. I bet you can spot it right away. You can replace those 3 weak words, made a decision, with one strong verb. Memorial Hospital decided to close its trauma center. Simple, direct. By all means, write freely, let the words flow, but then know that you've got to go back and dig out verbs in your sentences that are hidden by nouns. Okay, tip number 2. Watch out for expletives. Expletives are phrases like there is and it is, and they're great ways to emphasize something by putting it later in the sentence. For example, there are 3 qualifications all applicants must possess: experience, credentials, and desire. And it is essential that we restore faith in our entire judicial system. You see how it really helps with placement there by putting the essential elements later? But when overused, these same helpful expletives can really muck up our sentences. Here's some examples. There are a dozen students who volunteered for the experiment. There's really no need for the there is. It can be easily edited back to a dozen students volunteered for the experiment. Here's a typical example from academic writing. There are many cases in which politicians fail to connect with voters. Okay, let's edit that down from 12 words to 7 by simply eliminating there are and its support words. Politicians often fail to connect with voters. Likewise, the empty it also often hides the real subject and adds needless words. The example we have here is, it is necessary for Americans to understand multiculturalism. The it is construction there requires 5 extra words for an otherwise simple thought that could be expressed directly. Americans today must understand multiculturalism. Short, direct, simple. In this next academic example, you'll see 2 expletives at work, both the it and the there. Ready? It has been argued by Stinson that there is no topic in education today on which there is greater agreement. Whoa! Let's deflate this academic puffery by simply eliminating the expletives. Stinson argues that no topic in education today has greater agreement. Isn't that a lot more clear and direct? Don't you wish all academicians would write that way? Well, don't wait for them. You can do it. Okay, tip number 3. Don't let it be. Apologies to Paul McCartney. Be has many forms: is, am, are, was, were, be, being. And all of those forms, when used alone, can weaken your sentences. Okay, let's compare 2 sentences and you'll see what I mean. Amanda is running marathons for weight loss. Compare that to Amanda runs marathons for weight loss. Do you see how is running is less visual than runs? It's the same thing for this example. Paul is blogging for a living versus Paul blogs for a living. Sure, some uses of be are necessary, but challenge yourself because many times that be can be revised to include an action word instead. An example I like is about Mom's blueberry pie is delicious. Well, Mom would be more activated by your compliment if you wrote, Mom's blueberry pie tastes delicious. She would really like that. Dr. Seuss would also be thrilled if instead of writing, Dr. Seuss was the creator of Grinch, you simply wrote, Dr. Seuss created the Grinch. There you see more action because it's not a be verb. Another common be verb trap that I bet you've been told about before is the passive voice. Here's a common example. The speeding van was stopped by the state trooper. Well, make that active first by removing the be, and then simply showing the actor performing the action. The state trooper stopped the speeding van. Okay, tip number 4. Avoid weaklings. You see, the filler words like really and very are quite common in our first drafts. I almost said very common. But revision is the time when you can strengthen them. So the really bad news becomes the terrible news, or the frightful news, or the disturbing news, depending upon what kind of bad news it was. Do you see how all of those help you get closer to your true and more precise meaning? Did you know that many editors actually prohibit the use of the word very entirely in their publications? They make all writers, all editors replace very with a more precise word. So very afraid becomes terrified. Very neat becomes immaculate. And very dirty becomes filthy. You see what I mean? There's a book that I really like called The Synonym Finder. And in it, you can quickly find alternatives like these that really strengthen your prose. I did this as an exercise for this video. Here's a sentence. The senator's speech helped the bill's passage. I took that sentence, I found it online, and I went to the synonym finder and I looked up helped. It's a good word, but it's very nonspecific. And so you ask yourself, well, how did the senator's speech actually help? And you find that there are real alternatives to help you clarify your meaning. The senator's speech guaranteed the bill's passage. That's a possibility. The senator's speech accelerated the bill's passage. That's another possibility. The senator's speech paved the way for the bill's passage. Each of those says a slightly different thing and really helps you get closer to your precise meaning if you use tools like the synonym finder. Okay, let's talk about imprecise words. You've probably used them, I certainly do. Words like things and a lot of, one of my favorites. But these are also weaklings and they need to be revised. Here's both of them used at once from a actual student sentence that I came across. Students can use a lot of things to improve their grammar. Well, I advised that student to replace a lot of and things with something that would make the thought more clear. The student, well done student, came up with students can use a variety of online tools to improve their grammar. Good job. Okay, last tip. Tip number 5. Chop that deadwood. Let's face it, wordy phrases are usually the first ones that come to us. They're like drilled in our brain or something. But when you go back and you revise, you can find that really a lot of those wordy phrases can be replaced by one word 2 words, sometimes no words at all. Here are some examples. Due to the fact that harvesting takes time can simply be because harvesting takes time. So you delete that bloated phrase. Here's another one. The fact of the matter is that our experimental progress depends upon technology. Well, let's turn that into normal human speech. Our experimental progress depends on technology. Other examples of Deadwood include during the course of, which can be reduced to during, take into consideration, which can be replaced with consider, and with the exception of, to simply accept. Okay, so that's all for right now. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really hope these tips helped. Let me know if they did, and if so, I've got more and I'll share more in another video. In the meantime, be sure to pound, tickle, punch, or caress, being specific, that like button. It really helps. Okay, talk to you later.